Hello everybody and welcome to the Road Warrior. We're gonna get started here, guys. We are doing some Mad Max Live. This is definitely a game that I basically, you know, it's not something I would usually put on the channel, but I am a huge fan, an absolutely huge fan of the Mad Max series in general. Not so much the new stuff, honestly. Like, I do like Fury Road. It's one of the few modern movies that I actually do think is okay. I definitely think there's some undertones of feminism in there. I'm sure YouTube's not gonna like that, but, you know, it's a nice movie. It is. It's not my favorite of the Mad Max movies. I would rate it above Thunderdome, for sure. But we're going to go ahead and basically we are going to play some Mad Max today. It's that simple. I am jumping into my videos here because I want to delete the old Mad Max file that we had. We tried to start the game earlier. I couldn't find my coffee filter. So I went outside, and as soon as I was leaving, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I've washed it. So I went into the actual dishwasher, and I was like, oh, there it is, man. Thank goodness. No coffee, man. You got a serious problem. Hey, Bon Value. How you doing, buddy? Hey, Ariman. Welcome back, man. Thank you so much for sticking around. So I'm going to go ahead and actually delete. Wow, we actually got 41 views, man. I feel like shit because we could have gotten a bunch of views there. We got 41 views on the Mad Max Live video that we didn't play. That was pretty good. So let's jump in. We are going to start from the beginning. That's just how you got to do it. You know, I do have a game already saved, or I had a game saved, but I'm going to overwrite the autosave slot here. Oh, yeah, so that's the autosave. And we're going to go ahead and start a new game of Mad Max. Let's go, baby! V8! Witness me, boys. Witness me. Oh, there's that beautiful V8 right there. And I'm not a car guy. Like, believe me, I'm not a car guy. You can ask Araman here, the main administrator of the channel. I've never really been into cars. This is one of the only series, and the books are amazing. The comics are great for Mad Max to learn sort of the history in between the movies. And that's what got me into cars. I was never into cars before. Mad Max got me into cars. If I was going to have a car of any sort, it would be one like this, one of Mad Max's with the V8 engine, one of these old-fashioned cars. And I just love this kind of stuff. And of course, in the Australian outback, it would be hell to begin with. But especially, man, you know, after a nuclear cataclysm, wow.
Beyond a place he called the Plains of Silence. He now had the vehicle, the weapons, the provisions, and the fortitude. He only needed the fuel. And here, there was but one place to go for fuel. Gastown.
Gastown, baby. That's where we're headed. Try to see if I can jump into the chat here, man. Oh, that is a beautiful thing.
Listen, my apostles of Alpha. You've hunted well. And here's the fox who thought he'd plunder from Scabrous Scrotus.
By the way, this is one of the sons. The main enemy in this game is one of the sons of Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe has 3 sons. Scabrous Scrotus, I can't remember, Strictus, I can't remember the name of the other 2, but basically they're imperfect. In Scabrous Scrotus' case, he's a psychopath. And so Immortan Joe, if you guys watched, you know, Fury Road, you would know that Immortan Joe, he wants to have a perfect son to lead his people after he dies, which is actually a pretty noble cause. You know, from villains in Mad Max, Immortan Joe's actually one of the nicest. And, you know, basically all of them have problems, and this one, Scabrous, who's actually his strongest, not his strongest, but like sort of a mix between his, because he's got one really strong son that's really dumb, and he's got one really dumb son that's really strong. And Scabrous is sort of a mix of the two, but his biggest problem is he's a total psychopath. And even Immortan Joe knows And I'm getting into like Mad Max lore here. I hope you guys don't mind. But even Immortan Joe knows that having a psychopath to lead your people is not a good idea. That's why he always wants the perfect children. That's why he has, for instance, you know, the relationship with all those women trying to create the perfect child. All of his sons are in one way or another fucked up. And so Immortan Joe, this is his only chance at sort of having a good chance. So the enemy you have in this game, in Mad Max, is one of his sons, believe it or not. The main enemy, which I think is just a really cool tie-up of the comics, the books, all that stuff. Take a look here at the chat. Hey, Fraser Park. Hey, Marinho Carvalho. Tudo bem, meu amigo? Hey, how you doing, Pão Velho? Yeah, the guy's stupid too, says Ramley Exile. Yeah, absolutely, Araman. I mean, he's not the smartest kid, but he definitely has the savagery to take over Immortan Joe's empire. And I think the movie didn't touch upon him. They touch upon him in the book, in the comic books a lot. I think the movie didn't touch upon him because, you know, he probably could have taken over from Immortan Joe pretty easily. Of all the three brothers, he is absolutely the best. Of course, there's a fourth who, if you've watched Fury Road, spoilers, you know, he dies at birth, so it's not, I don't really count him, but he was perfect in every way. I'm not sure, yeah, I'm not sure if that's, and you're absolutely right, Armand, I'm not sure if that's him. I think it is. It might be, it might be some other guy. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did survive that. Strictus, who's his older brother, is really strong, but not very bright, and he survived much crazier things, like explosions, or crashing, you know, 110 miles per hour into a wall, you know, so I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's definitely a very strong family. All right, we got some water. Let's fill up that canteen, boys and girls. We are starting the game from the very beginning, guys. I have save files on this game, but I figured you guys would want to see this. And that's what we're going to do. This is definitely not something we usually do on the Agrippa Maxenius channel, but considering that I do know some lore about Mad Max, one of the few games I actually know some lore about, I'm making an exception. So if anyone has Mad Max related questions, I might be able to answer them. Gotta find the dog. I'm reading your comments from YouTube, so, you know, it might take a little while. That sort of thing. Yeah, so that's a great question. Fraser actually just asked. So did I like Fury Road? And I think the more important question would be, did I think it was true to Mad Max lore? So I'm totally willing to admit that Fury Road had some feminist undertones. But honestly, I did. I really liked it. And, you know, you can ask Dave Zizou and Araman here who know me best. I'm very critical of any prequels, remakes, anything related to movies that I liked in the 70s or 80s. And I will say that I thought Fury Road got the job done. I really, really think so. Another thing I really respect about Fury Road is despite it looking like there's a lot of CGI involved, there's actually not. One of the few scenes that was CGI'd was the sandstorm. A lot of the scenes were done with actual stunt actors, which I really respect. And the story itself wasn't, I wouldn't say it was perfect. I didn't think the story was that great. But in terms of Mad Max lore, I absolutely hold it above Thunderdome. Thunderdome I thought was the worst. A lot of people love Thunderdome. I hated Thunderdome. But, you know, it's decent. I liked it. I really did. I liked the characters in it. I loved how they showed Scrotus, who is, his name is Scrotus, one of the sons of Immortan Joe. They short Immortan Joe. And the thing about Immortan Joe that people don't realize, like, of all the villains in the Mad Max universe, Immortan Joe is actually one of the ones I have respect for because he cares about his family. You know, he cares about his wives, his kids, despite the fact that a lot of them have, like, serious problems. Like, his sons, one of them is retarded, one of them is a cripple, and he's more than a cripple. I'm not sure of the name of the disease. He has dwarfism, but he also has a glass bone disease. It's the same disease Ivar the Boneless had, where basically, like, you can't walk, you really can't do much. If you do, your bones will break, they'll get infected, and you'll die. But he's really smart, and Immortan Joe takes care of both of them and loves them, you know, like sons. But if you read the comics, he also has some weird characteristics. Like, for instance, Immortan Joe with his wives, and oh god, YouTube's definitely gonna fucking demonetize this video, so we might as well just be totally honest. Immortan Joe's wives, when he's in bed with them, he asks them to call him daddy. This is totally in line with the lore of Mad Max. And the weird thing is, some of his wives. One of the starting points of when he starts beating his wives up is because he also calls his war boys. He tells them, "Please call me daddy." So his wives sort of make suggestions that he might be gay or something like this. But the thing about Immortan Joe is during the gas wars and during the water wars, there were two different wars after the apocalypse. He was actually a good guy. You know, he actually saved people. He tried to help them. He brought them to his city, Gastown. And it was only then when he kind of turned into a dictator, which I have to say, I think, you know, kind of would have happened anyway. I mean, you're living on the only area of water in, you know, for hundreds of miles. You've got to kind of be nasty. And that's kind of what happened to Immortan Joe. You know, he had to be rough. And so in terms of all the bad guys, I think he was probably one of the nicest. And that whole thing about, you know, you will ride in blood and chrome, you know, it was just like he at least was giving the people that he knew were going to die from cancer anyway sort of some glory to be had. You can't see a retard on YouTube, says Fraser Park. Yeah, you can. You got to be careful, man. And Texas for You says, just walk away. Leave the oil. Just walk away. He's doing the humongous. Yeah, man. The Lord Humongous. The Ayatollah of rock and roller. You gotta love Humongous, man. Yeah, Humongous is pure fucking evil. I mean, like, he's steroided up big time. He's evil. Oh, yeah. Try this fucking sawed-off. I love the sawed-off, man. Sawed-off shotguns for the win. This is one of the few weapons that is actually outlawed in the United States. In most states, you can't saw off any weapon. Because, you know, obviously it makes the burst shorter, but it also makes the aim actually better if you're up close and personal. Here we go. Okay, nice. So this is the one problem. It's a very big difference between what we were playing recently, Kingdom Come Deliverance. I have to say, like, in Mad Max, you know, fighting is a lot easier than in those other games. It's fun. It's very WB style. This game is made by WB, Warner Brothers. But I would say it's easier. It's not as easy as Batman, but pretty straightforward, as you can see there. Let's get some gears, boys. We'll get a nice car. Let me go and pour this cup of coffee. 1 second after I beat the shit out of these guys. Another thing is the way they got the coloring for the characters in the film Fury Road was actually based on Hindu priests, which is interesting. But of course, as most of you guys know, you know, the actual story of Fury Road, they're not Hindu priests. They believe in V8, the V8 engine. They believe in Valhalla as well. So it's sort of a mix of like this crazy post-Armageddon religion mixed with, you know, I guess Norse mythology. Oh shit! Sorry. Go back. My bad. Oh man! Come on now. I'm burning myself up. I'm gonna get killed here. Maybe we have to go around. Gotta go back to Chum. Let me go pour this coffee, guys, or it's gonna burn up. Be right back. Hold on, guys. We're going to do a 2-minute intermission here while we get this coffee ready. This cafe ready. Wait 1 moment. I guess Mad Max is fire resistant, he says. He pretty much is. Not as fire resistant as Immortan Joe's son Scrotus, though, I will say. He can pretty much withstand anything, but he has absolutely no brain whatsoever. Mario Carvão says, how to be popular in Mad Max. Have a VB. Yeah, one second, guys. Let me just do something here. that's too bad. All right, I guess I have to wait a bit. Hold on a second. That's more like it. All right, I just had to finally get some coffee. It's about time. And I had 2 espressos downstairs. I'm still in need of coffee. But we're going to jump right in. Let me take a look here at the... So, guys, by the way, for this stream, I'm not playing any ads. I'm just not going to do it. You know, if anybody wants to donate, feel free. But I'm just done with ads with YouTube. Really. I'm just fed up. So, we're just going to have fun. It's that simple. Let's get back to the game. Sorry for that inconvenient pause there. I want to get my car, man. That's what I want. Give me my ride. We need to drink some water, but we're going to have to find some. See, this is the weird thing. It's saying return to Chum, but it's making me go through this area. I mean, unless... That is weird, man. Really weird. I guess we have to go this way. Nice pathfinding, Warner Brothers. Thanks a lot. Really made things easy for us. Warner Brothers do admittedly make some of the easiest games to play, and that is a problem, but I make an exception for Mad Max just because I really love it. Here he is. Hey, Chum.
No, not yet. You and I.
Oh, that's the Wanderer.
Wait!
Come back, Wanderer. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Oh, here we go. There he is. There's Chummy. Dinky D. Chum really loves his vehicles. Oh, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing, man? Don't do that. It's oil. It will poison you. Advertiser gets a dollar, streamer gets a penny, says Rambling Exile Ariman. You know it, man. You know it.
My buggy's just over here. Follow me.
Okay. Let's go get Chum's buggy. I love how he was licking. Like, the thing about Mad Max, the Mad Max universe, is there's a lot of, and I don't know if this is about the author, there's a lot of eating and spitting out of oil. And believe me, if you drink gasoline or get like any in your mouth, like even if you're trying to steal gasoline, one way to do that is like go up to a truck. See, I'm giving tips on how to steal gasoline from trucks. Go up to a truck, put a tube in the exhaust pipe and basically suck. And you can pull out some gas, but you got to spit it out, of course. You can't swallow it. But if you swallow that shit, like, you get really sick. Like, really, really sick. So the Mad Max universe and the intake of gas, like what he was doing right there, would get you very, very ill. Maybe because of the fact that we live in a post-apocalyptic universe, these people, you know, they're so resistant to toxic shit that, you know, it doesn't affect them. That could certainly be the case. I like your buggy, Chum. I want my car, though. Nice start. Let's go, boys. Got any turbo? Nope.
Yes, from that look point, we may be able to spot your car.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want. I want my car.
We can see the camp from up there without
All right.
risk of detection.
Look here at the chat. Is the game true to the lore? To the comic book lore, yeah, it actually is pretty true. It's a good question. It's pretty close. I wouldn't say it's totally true. I would say the movies actually pull more punches in terms of not being true to the lore than the games. For instance, in Mad Max Fury Road, they never talk about Scrotus, who is the third son of Immortan Joe, and who if he really existed in that universe, Immortan Joe wouldn't even need another son, because he's basically the bad guy in this game. And he's actually quite smart. The thing is, of course, like I mentioned before, he's a psychopath. So he's really smart, he's really fit, but he's a psychopath. And in all likelihood, if you follow the lore, Immortan Joe probably would have chosen him. He wouldn't have needed a third son or a fourth son. Just would have taken him. But I think that's really the only inconsistency. And of course, the fact that this is not either Mel Gibson or Tom Hardy. It's actually a third, totally different guy. And they don't actually make him look like either. And the voice actor is also different. So, sort of a third Mad Max, as it were. Now, can we say there's only one Mad Max? Yeah, there is. And I can't believe I'm not remembering his name right now, his real name in the lore. But yes, Mad Max is one person. He's not multiple people. It's not like 007. But they take liberties with, you know, of course, turning him into multiple characters, multiple different actors. That's fine. So here we go. Let's get to our car. Get the binocs.
Yeah, good cover. Perfect place to build a car.
Oh yeah.
Come, Saint. Yes, I have much to show you.
Let's go.
What is this place?
Well, like I was saying before, Immortan Joe is actually a pretty good villain. Like in terms of, you know, I would say if you know about what he's done and what he's been through, he's like a well-respected warrior of the oil wars and the water wars. He's actually deserves everything in a weird way in this post-apocalyptic universe. You know, would I have followed him? Probably not. But had I not known what was to come, then yeah, a lot of people would probably follow Immortan Joe. He did provide water, he did provide food, he just, you know, gave them out sparingly because there wasn't much water or food to be had. Really good question, though, Fraser.
When you're ready, Saint, my holy hideout awaits.
The lore when it comes to the water and the oil wars, there's two. There's an oil war first, and then there's a water war. Is not well represented, I would say. You know, obviously they give you some ideas as to what happens, but you can imagine that the battles that took place were pretty intense. The hell is this guy? There he is. Gotta love that WB autosave too. Can never fuck up on a WB game.
Come and see your Saint.
No, it's a great question, Fraser. It's set in Australia, which makes it even worse, because as you know, the Outback right now is one of the hottest places on Earth, and pardon me not knowing Celsius here, but the Outback can get to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which if somebody wants to convert that to Celsius, please feel free. So not only are they in an extremely hot continent to begin with, but it's even hotter considering the changing temperature after the nuclear apocalypse. So it could probably get 200 degrees in the center of the Outback. So obviously, if you kept driving, you would probably end up just dying. And that's why, you know, a lot of places in the Mad Max universe are totally, you know, deserted in just a desert of sand. Everything just dried up, basically.
Hell yeah! Bulletproof and torture tested.
So no, the setting is Australia. Now, as far as the lore talking about other continents, it does suggest that there's life on other continents, but it's probably very similar to the life in the Outback here. You know, sort of post-apocalyptic universe thing.
Show me where it is.
65.5 Celsius. Thank you, Dave. That's it. And Rambling says you'd basically be an instant warlord. Yep, exactly. Yep, exactly. Whether you want it or not. That's exactly, Ahriman got it exactly right. The thing with Immortan Joe, he was almost forced into being evil. He was an army commander during the oil wars and the water wars. He was a well-respected veteran, and actually, if you watch Fury Road, they actually do add that, because if you look at his uniform, he's got a bunch of medals, and those are not medals he gave himself. Those are actually medals he got during the oil and the water wars. So when the Mad Max lore begins, the world is still kind of together, and the problem is increased crime, increased delinquency. If you guys see Road Warrior, for instance, the movie, you'll see that there's still cops, there's still a government, but the criminals get off really easily. So it's actually kind of a conservative worldview where, like, you know, they need more law and order. There's not enough, and because of the lack of law and order, bad things start to happen. But then there's actually a nuclear war between the world powers, and that's when things get really bad. And of course, it continues from there. Ooh, there's my alarm. Hello, alarm. Let's go ahead and search this guy. But Mad Max originally, and I think it's Max Kuklinski. I'm so bad at this. Max something. He was actually originally a cop, which you'll know that if you watch Road Warrior. But eventually he just kind of goes off into the wasteland because he realizes, you know, he's lost his wife, he's lost his kid. Oh, I should have said spoilers. He's just kind of not interested anymore in the real world, as it were. But he basically goes into the wasteland as the oil wars are beginning. So there's a lot about Max we probably don't even know. Sort of like the story of Jesus. You know his birth and you know his adulthood. You don't really know, like, the teenager stage. In Max's case, we don't really know, like, the 30 years old stage. We only know, like, his early adult years to his middle age years, basically. So I'm sure he did a lot of shit during the oil wars. Mex, interesting. Thanks, Texas, for you. I would believe that, too. I would not be surprised if they pronounce his name Mex. I mean, again, a lot of the thing about... You know, he's survived, Max has survived a really long time. So a lot of the people in this post-world, they're born into this post-apocalyptic world, and they relate everything religion-wise, etc., basically back to vehicles. And so that's why you have, like, the V8 religion. They mix, you know, sort of ancestor worship mixed with, you know, Viking, or not Viking worship, Norse religion, with vehicles. It's really weird, but that's just kind of how they think of things. All right, now I think we got to take this gate down. Go to the graveyard. Let's go. Although it's a lot of that, the mech thing, if it's coming from the movies, it could be an Australian thing. I mean, Aussies have, especially if you go, like, deep in the outback, they've got a very, very distinct accent. So I wouldn't be surprised if they meant to say Max, but they were saying, like, Max, you know, sort of thing. But yeah, it's definitely set in Australia. And the entire lore is set in Australia. Which is a great setting for post-apocalyptic settings. Because Australia is kind of a post-apocalyptic place already, let's be honest. You know, tiny jellyfish that can kill you. We're low on fuel.
Unfortunately, with gas time comes the blessings of gasoline.
And that's another one. They don't call it gasoline, they call it guzzling. People are simpler here. You know, it's a simpler time. Magnum opus. Now, as for why they use so many Roman names, because, like, for instance, Immortan Joe's sons are called Scrotus, Cassius, things like that. I really don't know. I mean, it could be as simple as, like, Scrotus is educated, or excuse me, not Scrotus, Immortan Joe is educated, so, like, he gives his sons, like, intelligent names. From what I can see in the lore, I don't see anything specifically or explicitly talking about Romans or Roman names or things like that. So I'm guessing, like, Immortan Joe, you know, obviously being an officer in the wars, he probably got, like, some military history training, so maybe that's where he got the names for his sons, because he does give, you know, his sons Roman names, which is pretty cool.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Oh yeah, he's trying to tell me to look for other places for fuel. Nope, we've totally looted this place. Gotta go to the next place for fuel. Max is actually considered, like, pretty upper class in this setting, because even having fuel, and especially having a vehicle, is very rare. You know, most people don't have either. So he's actually pretty lucky when all things considered. There we go. We're out of fuel now. Oh shit. Gotta get into a fight. Let's do it. Don't forget, guys, we are not advertising on this video. So if you'd like to assist the channel, you can always use that super chat option. Get that fuel. And let's take a look here at the chat. Sorry guys, I gotta, like, be looking at my phone and back at the game. That's what it is. Thank you, Dave Rokotansky. That's it. And it is an interesting last name. I totally agree. Fraser says Australia is a third world country. Mac's voice in this game is an Australian actor, says Dave. Awesome, yeah, that's very cool. And as I mentioned before, the voice actor and they don't even make him look like Tom Hardy. Like you can see, the actual actor in this game is actually based off the voice actor. So that's pretty cool. I like that, especially being a voice actor myself. That shows a lot of respect. And it is Mac Rokotinsky, so I would guess he probably has like Polish origin. You know, obviously, I'm sure his family's been in Australia for a long, long time, but maybe originally Polish. I'm not sure. I don't think it really matters though to the lore. Get that guzzling gas.
Praises, she's full. But let's bring an extra for refueling.
Oh, good idea.
Something up.
Good idea. So we can actually store some cans here inside the vehicle.
Now, let us make haste before the nightly hunters return to their lair.
Swear to you, this game made me love cars. I just really did. It's just cool as shit. We didn't take that last bit of scrap we could have, but I want to head back to the lair and get the story mission started. Oh, oh God. That would have been death right there. A lot of the original raiders for the Road Warrior film, the guys that made up the raiding crew, were not even paid in cash. They were paid in beer. They actually the director gave them cases of beer, and they accepted that. And a lot of them were actually part of a real biker gang, so yeah, just give us a case of beer. Get a Scottish accent trying to mimic an Australian one, shame on me.
Nobody around. Their gate unguarded. The gasoline, Saint. One blast should split it wide open.
So let's make this one count.
Ah, detonating a fuel can. Okay, fair enough. No, I don't think we have any shells. That's going to be a problem. We used all the shells on the enemy. But oh well. Oh, we can ignite it. Nice. Okay, so let's ignite. Yeah, baby.
Exaltation. She's cracked open.
Our health is really low, but we can hopefully fix that a little bit later.
We must hurry. Wardens of this place murder on sight.
Yeah, we got to get out of the graveyard.
The fiends that tend this kind of code don't like strangers.
Sorry, guys, got to pay attention right now. Shit.
Man killers everywhere. Tread careful.
And this is totally common in the Wasteland, especially between cities. And yeah, there are cities in the Wasteland. They're rare and few and far between, and they usually have some sort of overlord like, you know, like a Morton Joe. But it was very common, especially in the lore, to find these sort of like mercenaries or slavers in between the cities, and they would have these elaborate traps set up so that if you were like a regular driver, well, you would either become dead or you would, you know, become a slave to one of these guys. So this thing in between the towns of like a bunch of mines, things like that, was very common. There's also a lot of mines left over from the oil and gas wars. So, you know, there's a lot of just deadly things out in the wasteland that can kill you. Interestingly enough, despite it being Australia, not really animals, because a lot of the animals died out. So, in terms of animal deaths, it's pretty rare. But other kinds of, like, deaths, you know, yeah, it's a serious problem. Holy shit, we're on fire. We gotta find a new car body, and we are burning. Come on! Fire out! Burning up here. Help us. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that, Eric, but you don't have to tell me every time, mate. I mean, I noticed you put on a lot of videos, like I added a like. I appreciate it, man, but you don't have to put that. It's not necessary.
Only way to get up there.
Very nice of you.
Those cave tunnels.
All right, let's get into the tunnels.
Get the car in place down here. I'll lower the body onto it.
She'll be ready, as I will.
Something here.
Yeah, I can tell Dave is totally right. They definitely got an Australian voice actor for this. Really nicely done, too. You guys got talent. Some gears. Scrap.
Maybe I could zip down this.
Oh, yeah. Man, zip lining with a crowbar. Like, Max has giant steel balls.
Flashlight.
Would never do that. Imagine how many YouTube views we could get. Like, just put like, oh yeah, YouTube video. Grippa zip lines down a freaking metal bar with a crowbar.
Still works too.
It's so dangerous. Of course, it could only happen in the Mad Max universe. All it takes is for your hand to slip a little bit. All of a sudden, the zip line hits your hand. You fall right the fuck off. But this is Max. What's it called, Dave? Oh, what's his name again? Max. I know his last name. Of course, he prefers to be called Mad Max. Anything that reminds him of his family in the past is not good. You know, his wife, his kid.
Choose. Get down here so we can escape from our escape.
Oh, yeah! Alright, we're gonna choose the graveyard. Alright, so we get to choose our car body. This one is the most similar. The Wild Hunt is the most similar to the original Mad Max vehicle. The Dirola is one that the guys that support Humongous use. The Death Rattle is very similar to the ones you see in Fury Road. The Wild Hunt is really the one I want. I mean, that's the most... I think it looks like a Camaro, a Chevy Camaro. But it's really, honestly, the most true-to-life Mad Max car. The Shovel Face is pretty close as well. So we're going to choose between the Shovel Face and the Wild Hunt. I'm going to let you guys decide. So let's take a look here. Shovel Face or Wild Hunt, guys. We're going to put it right here in the chat, or Wild Hunt, and we'll see whoever, whatever you guys decide, we'll take that. Let me actually make I should always do this anytime I ask a question like this. Let me make a poll. So... Okay. Yeah, we're only going to take one or the other. We're trying to stick pretty close to the story. We might not even go to the poll if you guys type in the chat. I really just jumped through this poll without even thinking about it. So let me copy paste this here. I'll take a look at the results here in a second, but I'm going to jump between the two. So jump to the poll. So this is the Wild Hunt. This is the Shovel Face. Both are pretty true to Mad Max lore, but I'll let you guys decide which you prefer, and then we'll take a look, and we will make this a stream selection. Thank you, Dave. That is the car. Ford Falcon GT Coupe. And I'm sure in 73 it was worth a shit ton of money. It's not a cheap car. Wow, straw poll's not working for us for once. Damn it. I don't know why that is. Anyway, I think we'll take a look here. So somebody's going to have to just select Wild Hunt. So Wild Hunt is selected by Mario. I'm assuming Arimon also is selecting Wild Hunt due to his love for the Celtic Gaelic mythology. So we'll go with the Wild Hunt. And I think the Wild Hunt is actually the Ford Falcon anyway. So we'll go ahead and take this beautiful baby. You really got to love, like, when you get a car in this game, it's got to be like your baby. This is my magnum opus. That's why it's called the magnum opus. shit. Fucking buzzards. You gotta counter his move. These guys are a totally separate gang. There's the bikers, the buzzards. I mean, there's hundreds, of course. I want that gun. I want that gun, that knife. The shiv. Now Max Rudensky is really in the fight, guys. Oh, shit. Thank you, WB, for making the game so easy that now I just have to go ahead and select continue. Yeah, no worries about the pull. I think it was totally screwed up. I got this. Come on. And of course, being an ex-cop, Max is quite good at combat, especially close combat, but also ranged combat, you know, rifles, things like that. Well, it's pretty hard to find a rifle in the Wasteland. Shotguns, pistols, they're a lot more common. Shotguns probably more so than pistols, and I would guess that's just because of the proliferation of, you know, there's hunters in the outback, things like that. It's probably an easier weapon to find. But obviously Max uses the good old sawn-off, and there's actually a specific kind of shotgun he uses. I was just looking at it on Wikipedia. I think it's an Australian model. If Dave wants to put it up, feel free, or Araman wants to put it up. But it's a pretty decent sawn-off. I mean, obviously, a sawn-off is always made by a specific person, because you're literally buying a shotgun and sawing off the barrel yourself. Let's go. There's my baby. There she is, boys and girls. She's not pretty now, but she will be. Look. Just look. The beauty. Yeah, baby. Ooh, okay. Goodbye. Gotta love that fuel tank. I really wasn't very climactic because I just immediately blew him up. Let's go, baby. You know, WB, it's like a shitty action movie. I hate to relate it to this, but it's like it's very easy to play a WB game in most cases, but it is extremely beautiful. So I excuse the easy gameplay by the fact that it entertains you guys. Otherwise, it's just too easy. You know, we can obviously up the difficulty setting, but you know, destroying these vehicles is not tough. It's still cool though. See, we can just destroy this guy by ramming him. Get out of here. Yeah, baby. Save him.
Praise me, we're alive and free of the graveyard. Wait, something's loose. I can fix it now if you stop, or later at my sanctum.
So he'll fix it if we stop, which is pretty cool. He can repair the magnum opus, but only when it's standing still. So we'll have him repair.
It needs repairs now.
And I love that this guy. I mean, he's one of the. What's called Immortan Joe's boys, and Immortan Joe's boys, there's something called a Blackfinger, and the Blackfinger is basically the engineer, and they're raised from birth to be engineers. You know, they're basically taught that you'll only get to Valhalla or heaven if you're a good engineer, if you can fix vehicles, etc. And there's actually separate gods for the individual vehicle parts. So I'm sure you guys have heard the term V8 a lot in the Mad Max universe. And so there is actually a religion based on the V8 engine. There's religions based on the actual gear itself, the screwdriver. I mean, it's incredible just how, you know, the people in the Mad Max universe in this post-Armageddon world, you know, all they know is like the mechanical things they find, and that's what helps them survive in this wasteland. You know, even today, if you go into the outback of Australia, it's a fucking wasteland. So after a post-apocalyptic nightmare, wow. And also Australia was targeted, so I'm guessing the main cities like Sydney, Melbourne, etc. are uninhabitable. You have to go to the outback to survive. Yeah, a lot of little tidbits, Dave. Definitely, man. It's a beautiful history. I love it. I highly recommend the comic books to anybody, you know, even if you're not a fan of, like, books. I mean, graphic novels are different, and they really tell the story of the Mad Max universe.
I need more than just a body and some wheels.
Hey, man! We need parts, scarce as they are. Help me gather all this scrap. Huh? I'll fashion a harpoon.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get a harpoon. Now, that's what we use to basically strap onto a car or a wall and pull that bastard down.
With the harpoon, Saint, we'll gain entry into many secret places. May also prove to be useful in battle.
How so?
And we could use it to defeat enemies.
So he thinks I'm a saint because, obviously, I've experienced with a car before, but basically he's conditioned to think that anybody that's really good at the car has a vehicle, it has some importance.
But the jag tip, it's not here. See, it's not here at all. Yeah, it's in my book. It's just there for safekeeping.
Is that jag tip?
If a hunchback delivers.
Yeah, personally, I'd probably be like a water worshiper. A lot of there are areas in the wasteland. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. You can even watch the movies to see this. There are areas in the wasteland that do have water and forests and things like that, but they're very, very rare. And those guys are basically sort of ancestor worshippers / water worshippers, and they're usually very, very peaceful. So I would probably be like a water worshiper in the Mad Max universe. So here we go. Let's build that harpoon. Oh, we can install a rammer. Nice, let's do it. Tussle bar.
To stand a chance, she'll need nitrous.
Oh yeah, I want some nitrous.
We'll need the parts.
We just get them. It'll be easy with a harpoon.
Yes, but first, Scrotus war boys are out there.
There's Scrotus. So he's talking about Scrotus. That's, like I said, Immortan Joe's third son.
Me, and the Magnum
And
Opus.
the main enemy in this game. Immortan Joe is pretty big in terms of like his how good of a villain he is, because guys like earlier somebody named the Lord Humongous, he's actually like small beans compared to Immortan Joe. Humongous was pretty much not really that important. He was only important because Max happened to stumble upon him, but compared to Immortan Joe, Humongous would have no power at all. In fact, I think, and this I don't know, but I think Humongous might be an adept of Immortan Joe. I could be wrong. I wouldn't be surprised, though. So, he might be one of Immortan Joe's warlords, but he's definitely not as important. And then when you get to places like Thunderdome, though Thunderdome is my least favorite Mad Max film, for my own reasons. There are good parts of it. But in Thunderdome, it basically shows you that there are different sort of warlords across the wasteland. It's not just Immortan Joe, there are others, but Immortan Joe is a pretty important one, especially in the area of the wasteland with some water, and there's not many. Oh shit. Let's go back. I'm assuming I have to do this track around. because this is kind of like early game stuff. But I guess I was wrong. Let's head back. At least the driving is really fun in this game, so it's not that big of a deal, but yeah, it's definitely back this way. I love the sound of the shifting gears, too. This is definitely not automatic. I mean, anything in the Mad Max universe is going to be, you know, completely manual drive. So you can actually hear him shifting the gears, where you actually hear, like, the click, click. I think one thing that would probably add some difficulty to this game that would be pretty cool would be if they had added the shifting gears. You know, they've done that in games like Need for Speed in the past. So I think it would have been pretty easy to do it here, but it's WB, and their games have to be really easy. So,
Better use the harpoon for this.
All right, let's try the harpoon. Let's go. Let's go. This, of course, lowers the threat in this part of the wasteland, and this entire map shows, like, it's really cool. You have to take down all these individual warlords to take over these areas, but actually, the wasteland, this is only a tiny, tiny part of the entire wasteland, so that's one thing to keep in mind.
Monument to the Cardifiers! Tear it down!
Oh wow, there's a dead body.
The land is clear of scarecrows! Rhoda's camp lay before us, at our mercy!
No. Scout it out.
Oh, yes, yes, to see if they've nasty surprises in wait.
So now we're going to scout out one of the first camps of Scrotus Maximus. Now, of course, he is the main warlord here, so this is just one of his many, many camps. We're not by any means damaging him by destroying it.
Guys.
Hello? Fucking advertisers, man. Gotta hate that. Even in Portugal. Even in Portugal. Let's take a look here at the chat. In the lore. So yeah, that's a good point, Dave. The game should be slightly bigger, but I mean, it does take a long time to sort of destroy these areas. But in the actual lore, this part of the wasteland is pretty small. You know, the wasteland is huge, and there's probably like 80 to 90% of it that's completely uninhabitable. There are still settlements in between that uninhabitable zone, though. This is kind of, this is sort of one of them, I would say.
What's the purpose of these camps?
Oil! The crude, pumped from the very ground, and sent in convoys to be refined and gasolined in Gastown.
Let's take a look here. Let's get a quick repair going. Another thing, guys, once again, I'm not playing any advertisements at all for this stream. 171 to do a quick repair. So as you can see, if we just wait here, he's already repairing the vehicle. But we're not going to do any ads for this stream, so keep in mind, if you want to do the donation, you can always hit that little dollar button or euro button or whatever currency you have in the chat, and throw a few cents this way even.
Let's see.
Zoom in.
Sniper out front.
You can tear that tower down.
Gates
Get rid of the sniper.
War crier.
War cry. Now that guy right there
That's
is very strong, and basically they attach him to a sort of pulley rope system, sort of like the Guitar Boy in Fury Road. But they're very strong. These guys, you know, they're basically they're not commanders of the camp. They're sort of like the enforcers.
I'll deal with them before entering.
Yes, yes. Nothing our sweet magnum opus cannot handle.
And straight. So what we're going to do with the sniper is probably tear down the sniper tower. And my favorite actual gang from the Mad Max lore is the Warbikers, and they basically hang out in the Outlands, sort of outside of the habitable zone, and any transports running through those Outlands get attacked. They do show the Warbikers a little bit in the movie, which is really cool. Come on in. Shoot me. Oh, you little bastard. I'm trying to see how long it would take for him to get down to business. Get it. WB bugs much? Come on, man. There we go. Finally. Wow. Oh, that was weird. It's okay. We can just go ahead and start at that location. But for some reason, the middle mouse button didn't want to operate. Thank you, Dave.
Campus light defenses.
See, guys, I love you all, but when the moderators and administrators of the channel are donating, that's not a good thing. I love them for it. I do, but they do enough work as is. I don't want to guilt trip anybody into donating, but, you know, guys like Dave, when they do that, man, I really appreciate it, but they really shouldn't have to. They, you know, him and Ahriman, they put in so much work on this channel. I mean that sincerely. And if not for them, I don't think this channel would be what it is today. You know, they keep things in line. They teach me a lot of things I didn't know about. Dave taught me all about stream elements. Ahriman has taught me about a bunch of stuff, and when they donate, it makes me a little sad. Just a little sad. You know, I'm sure if you pass by a bum on the street, you'll throw him a quarter. Throw me a quarter here. You know, start saving up some money on PayPal. If you watch the channel regularly, you like to watch the channel, consider doing that. I really do appreciate it, though, Dave. You're the best, man. Let's go, then. Now you're fucked. Goodbye. Yeah, no one's surviving that fall.
Tank is speeding the flamethrower.
We'll rip it off! Harpoon awaiting your command!
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and grapple that tank. I don't want to fall off. Oh, shit! Never mind. We did destroy the perimeter defenses, though, so now we can get in. Thank you, dude. Oh, yeah.
Fix the car. Quick.
Let's get in. We still have that shiv, too. Let's take a look here at the chat. Yeah, Dave is awesome. Dave, Ahriman, awesome guys. Lion as well. Lion is our third. I would consider Dave and Ahriman, you know, basically pure admins of the channel. Lion is more of a moderator, but he's a great guy as well. Here we go. Okay, so this is the War Crier, and he's going to basically call in the rest of the enemies here to fight us. The War Crier is similar to the guitar guy in Fury Road in the sense that he sings, he keeps the guy's morale up, etc. He also dishes out punishment. The War Crier role is actually discussed in the comic books quite a lot, and being a War Crier is kind of it's a good thing to be. Let's put it that way. You sit up in a freaking sling all day. You get brought water and food, booze, and all you have to do is just rally the men. I think, on all things considered, I would probably be a War Crier, given my current profession of YouTuber. If I was in the Mad Max universe. So for a War Crier, you got to kill him with a shotgun. You got to shoot the tank on his back. In this case, we don't have shotgun shells, but I'm sure we're going to find some. We could also drop him. Sorry, buddy. Why they carry a fuel tank to pound that's full, I have no idea.
The Black on Black is gone. They left nothing.
Okay, so this history relic obviously is talking about Max's wife and kid. And I've already given spoilers earlier in the stream, but for those of you that are new, I'm not going to give it away. You should watch the Mad Max movies.
Storm's rising.
This guy has a shiv. Yeah! Punisher. Give him the Punisher! That's a shiv in the neck. That is not survivable. Grab some more scrap here. We have to destroy the oil pump. We might have to actually go up here. Yeah, I think this is what we have to do. Oh, this is Sandstorm. And actually, the movie Fury Road was pretty good with keeping things not... A lot of people accuse it of using a lot of CGI effects. It actually didn't use a lot. And one of the few moments in the movie of Fury Road where they use a lot of CGI is during the Sandstorm. And here in the Mad Max universe, the sandstorms will kill you, without a doubt. So they do a really good job in this game and in the film of showing the fury of the sandstorms post-apocalypse. I mean, they're just totally deadly. The Scrotus insignia, by the way, is the same insignia that Immortan Joe uses. Scrotus just uses it because he's Immortan Joe's son. Maybe they'll eventually add like a part 2 to this game or something where you get to kill Immortan Joe, but I'm guessing with the movie that's probably not going to be the case. It's bad down here, man. Freaking sandstorms. Oh yeah, shotgun ammo. Maybe we have to go back down. Now with the water, I can actually drink this and regain some health. Mario, it's okay, mate. I always say, like, if you can't donate, the next best thing to do is share the channel. And, you know, make it specific. What the fuck? Wow. So, for instance, if you're on YouTube or Facebook or something like that, you know, just say, hey, listen, if you like strategy games, check this channel out. We don't want to force people to check it out and they don't like it, but if people are into strategy games, they'll probably like the channel. This isn't even a strategy game, and we're still playing it. And having a blast here. I love how Dave's usually put the coffee fund. The funny thing is, too, you know, I'm here in my family's home, and my mom had 2 entire jars of coffee here, so I could basically just use them. And I have like 1/4 of a jar left after 2 weeks in Portugal. So I can really use that coffee fund, dude, because I think I'm going to be buying some new coffee very soon. Boom. So I guess we maybe have to grab that part before the sandstorm hits? I don't know. I'm going to leave the shiv there. I definitely want the Scrotus insignia, though, so I'll take that. I'll destroy it. And I want the water. Guessing that whatever we have to do has to be done in that area. That's just what I'm guessing. Oh, no. Well, that still kind of worked. I mean, we're just skipping the shotgun shell, which we do need. We'll figure it out.
What do you want?
Time is built to this, Wanderer. Your path, however crooked, has led you straight to here. Our work, yours and mine, must soon commence. Come find me when your spirit is ready.
Weird fucking guy. Alright, will do.
Don't call the humpback now.
Alright, so this is all about Fury. Basically, once you get into a certain stage of ground combat, you can actually go ahead and use the Fury, and basically you're fighting a lot harder than you would before. In this case, I don't think we're going to need it, but we'll see. Now we're in Fury mode, guys. So this is another thing they also did this in the Batman game, and this is where I lose respect for WB a bit, because they just make things, they make their games a little too easy. Still great to watch, but the difficulty is a lot easier than it seems. Like, I haven't played this game in like a year, and I'm still doing pretty well.
Destroy the pump. Make it so that there's no reason for them to come back.
Alright, we need to get a shotgun shell, so hope we don't have to go back. Maybe there's one hidden here, or we could also get that gas can and light it, basically. Come on. There we go. And that really fucked with the economy of the warlords, destroying the oil pumps. I mean, that's what they make all their income off of. Definitely drink of choice while gambling. While gaming. I thought you said gambling there for you. There we go. Occasionally, yeah. Occasionally I do. Especially when I'm drinking. But not nearly as much as I used to. I think I probably go through like a pack every 2 weeks.
To find him.
I'd like to get it to nothing, but I think it's better than going through a pack a day. I'll drink a few beers and have like a cigarette or two. But I don't find the desire really to smoke like just regularly. But, you know, I think if I'm going to stop smoking completely, I definitely have to stop drinking as well. Because it just kind of goes hand in hand for me. Which is unfortunate. Let's go. Back to my magnum opus.
There's something needs doing before we turn back.
But we've got all we need. Why stall our work on the magnum opus?
It's not for you to understand.
Yeah, it's off guns, oil, or water. Absolutely true, Ariman. It's oil and water are really the main ones. The guns are sort of secondary, but the whole entire point of the Mad Max universe, especially the first few wars before the world turned to total. I mean, the world was already shit. This is post-Armageddon, but before it got even worse, especially in Australia, there were the oil and water wars, and that really established the importance of both. And believe it or not, especially in terms of the water wars, in terms of how we're going right now in the world today, that's a very possible thing that could occur, is wars over water, fresh water specifically. So, you know, stay tuned. So we have to meet up with a mysterious wastelander to get some skill upgrades.
Never mind the old Blackfinger.
And see, he's a Blackfinger, so he's, of course, an engineer for Morton Joe, for sure. So this guy has definitely known him, Morton Joe. Probably never met him, but certainly knows who he is.
There you are. of sands, letter of blood, remnants of a ruined past. You say you seek the plains of silence, but do you not wander them right now? The remains of your life, a perpetual flight, an escape from all that is human, until one day the plains of silence end and you begin. You've a purpose in this life, my friend, although you fear to dream it. But pain will come, much more pain, before this purpose to you is made manifest.
You know nothing of me.
Look behind you, at dune after dune of drifting, half-forgotten terrors. You flee them always, these past phantoms, and the madness that crawls inside.
Well, there are, it's interesting you say that, Armand. There is a faction of Immortan Joe's men. Before they joined Immortan Joe, they were called the Bullet Farmers. And basically what they would do is they would raid old army outposts that were there during the different wars, etc. And they would take the ammunition, and ammunition was their biggest thing. So I think you would probably be one of the Bullet Farmers. That's actually the name of their faction. If you watch the Mad Max movie, one of Immortan Joe's underlings, and he didn't used to be part of Immortan Joe's crew, but he joined them, is the Bullet Farmer. And if you just type into Wikipedia, or probably have to go to like Mad Maxopedia or whatever, and just check out Bullet Farmer, you'll see that faction. Oh, I want to select it. Come on now. Come on, WB. Oh, okay. Let's add some to longevity as well. And to attunement. But yeah, the Bullet Farmers, that's their trade, is ammunition. Ammunition, guns, etc. But their leader is like a madman. He's, I think he's called the Preacher, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, Immortan Joe has his own belief system, which is very similar to, like, sort of like Norse mythology, you know, with you can ride into Valhalla, etc. But the Preacher is much more sort of Christianity-based. And his thing, he's very similar, if you read the comics, to, I'm trying to think of, what's it called, Calvinism, where basically he believes, like, if you're struck down by a bullet, you know, it's fate, you know, it's God's will. And a lot of the times, especially in the movie, they even show this, he'll go into a blind fury where he just goes, I believe in God's will, and he'll blindfold himself and just go into combat, firing his submachine guns and just blasting away at people. And his faction is like, they're kind of like the Templars of the Mad Max universe, although evil Templars. I happen to think Templars are pretty cool. These are like evil Templars. Sort of the Renaud de Chatillon of Templars. Yeah, that guy was pretty funny, exactly. Yeah, that would be the faction you would have to select to survive, would be the Bullet Farmers. And basically they walk around with like metal detectors, they look for old spent rounds, they refill them. You know, it's really interesting.
We have what we need to install the nitrous boost.
Gotta get that gunpowder, baby. Let's get that nitrous boost here. Nice. We could also get a hood ornament, because we've taken out one of the enemies, but not really that important. No, I don't see it. I don't see any possible hood ornaments. The game is lying.
Nitro done yet?
Oh, yes, Nitro installed. Now, let's baptize her and roll the holy sled. I know just the place.
Oh, sorry. You guys are wondering why he keeps referring to it as the Holy Sled and refers to me as a saint. I mean, keep in mind that, you know, the religion of these people is totally based off vehicles, mechanics, oil. So if you have a vehicle, you have knowledge of mechanics, you know how to fight, you are basically a saint in the wasteland. Besides, we're probably giving this guy, like, oil and water for him to stick around.
There, aim for the edge.
Here we go, baby.
Boost across it. She's so
Yeah. Oh, I love that nitro boost.
A spotter! We must silence them before they call their friends!
Watch this. Gotta smash this guy. Oh, you wanna play chicken? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, man. One more hit and he's dead. You've destroyed the front of his car completely, the hood. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's the last of them.
We really should get back to my sanctum.
Nice, we got some upgrades for Max. So I'm definitely going to give him the jacket. I mean, you can't go wrong with the old Mad Max jacket. In this case, we can only use the skibby, but we're going to get the jacket eventually as we unlock stuff. Here we can get some combat skills, and the weapon parry is very useful. Enemies in the wasteland are going to have shivs, things like that, and they'll kill you pretty quick. So while I'm gathering this scrap, this fella can go ahead and fix this thing. Fix it. Look at that fire extinguisher, I love that.
Got the car.
We're gonna go look for supplies down here. We could have some enemies. Oh shit! Did not mean to do that. Ouch! Max sprained his ankle. We need a Jimmy bar. Yeah, we might have to come back. Let's go, chum. Oh yeah.
Saint? Oh, Saint, come and see.
Get out of here.
Go, 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 go! Hold on! Those boys are the crew of Stankum, Scrotus's deadliest underling.
Stankum is, of course, one of Scrotus's warlords.
Scavenger scum! My tabernacle! Gone! All of it
Wow.
lost.
We have the car. We need to go. You know a safe place? Somewhere we can rebuild.
Jeet, of the Great White, we can make a deal. Trust me, don't kill us.
Doesn't
Let's go
sound
to
safe.
Jeet Stronghold. I'll take a
that the
look
best
here
we-
at the chat. Could add some stuff in the garage, but it's mostly just hood ornaments. Yeah, we kind of are scavengers. The awesomeness was too much, says Daniel. Sorry about that. Yeah, I saw that. It's back now, apparently.
I
But,
think we have a
let's see what
choice,
happens.
Zane.
What is this place?
This part of the Great White is Jeet's territory. Like everywhere else in this realm, it's been overrun by Scrotus. War boy camps and patrols are everywhere.
They are not too smart with their vehicles.
It needs repairs now.
So I'm going to get out and actually try to get that scrap.
Sit tight.
Could be water, could be a vantage point. It's another one of Max's history relics. Him on a snowmobile. Wow. Get out here. We could end up finding some of Jeet's friends here. 'Cause sometimes they hide in these areas where there's scrap to try and prey upon unsuspecting travelers. Yeah, we also got some shotgun shots. Oh, look that! That's a goanna! That is a goanna! I love those animals. Oh shit, what did I tell you guys? What did I tell you? Oh shit. You get the shotgun treatment just to show off to the viewers. And we still didn't get this area unlocked. Well, we looted it all, but I think there's something else we have to do. No, maybe not. Again, it's been a while since I played the game. Could also pull down that structure, which we probably will before we head into the encampment. This one we can just ram, basically. If it's a weak scarecrow with no defenses. Maybe not. Wait a minute. There we go. At this point, we're destroying scarecrows just to lower the threat in Jeet's territory. We're fine on water, so I'm not stopping for that. And as you can see, since we own some of the camps, you know, that we've taken over, we get scrap from those camps. So you do kind of become a little bit of a warlord in this game.
Danger is everywhere. Evil lurks behind every tomb. Range, that's what we need. A shooter with some range. Our rifle barrel, scope. Our caliber, large caliber, yeah. Bunch.
Hard to get one.
Perhaps these nimble black fingers are skilled in such metallurgy.
Are you saying you can build me one?
If Jeet has the parts I need, I saw one dismantled once. It's not so complex.
Sniper is really, really close. wanted to see if he could shoot us. Can't honestly tell if we destroyed that thing or not.
It's bigger than I remember.
Well, this Jeep recognize you?
A chance he will. Yeah, well, but there are no friends, no favors in this.
We got this guy to drive off. Oh shit, no! That was us driving off. It's okay. It's still, I thought we could have knocked that guy off the cliff here. Once again, thanks WB for making our car resistant to explosions from falling off large hills. We really appreciate it. Because if the enemy falls off that hill, trust me, he does not survive. Physics are not relevant when you're driving in a WB-sponsored vehicle. In any case, we are going to take on Jeet for this stream. I'm going to take a tiny break here, so if anybody else wants to throw some shekels our way, please feel free. Thank you, Dave, for the donation. That was awesome, dude. Let's see what's happening.
Announce your business, or learn to love a bolt in the brain.
It is me, Jumbucket, Master Wrench Jockey, and skilled Blackfinger, who's an acolyte to the Angel Combustion who beseeches you.
Who's your driver? Does he have any
Damn, Isis.
medicine?
I
Please
fear
ruin
not.
everything.
Your pain must linger. I'm sorry, but he is a driver of otherworldly skills. Yes, you see.
Why would I need a driver of otherworldly skills? Scrap monkey!
Please, please, we aim to enter the Dead Barrens, and all my gear, it was destroyed by infidel scavengers, and we need to heal this machine. If you let us work here, why, with his saintly wheel hands and my black fingers, we will deliver to you a bona fide grease pit. Ah, praise be the prophet.
Let him inside.
So it looks like Jeet is accepting us. Again, I haven't played the game in so long, so I kind of forget. We have beaten the game before, but I think we basically get to go into Jeet's stronghold here. A lot of the people are fighting, a lot of the warlords, are, I should say, are fighting against the dominance of Scrotus, of Immortan Joe's son Scrotus. So you do get some warlords that actually support you in the Wasteland. I think Jeet is one of them.
Hey! Driver of otherworldly whatever, come up here and yak. Wanna know why I let you in here?
I wonder.
Jeet's an American, which is strange because, again, the story is set in Australia. The entire lore is set in Australia.
Not much of a car.
So this would be a little,
Just
Araman was
like
asking before, is it with the lore? This would be a little
No.
strange.
Not
Possible,
strong.
but very strange.
Careful now. Don't want to insult a man in his own home. Listen,
Certainly nobody would
we
go to Australia after
and
the
now
wars
Overlord
happened.
controls all.
So it would probably be an American that was already here. And considering the fact he's got like a Adirondack sort of redneck accent,
Killed, I hear.
it would be very strange. You know, maybe he worked for like an oil company or something like that. That's possible.
But his terror outlives him.
A proposition then. I'll weaken their grip on these lands. You give us the use of your garage and tools.
Boom! I thought you could, you'd have a deal. And then
Gastown.
oh, one peep at the jaw will change your mind.
What's the draw?
It's a gate you gotta pass to reach Gastown. Look for it yourself. It's in Dead Barrens Pass.
Right before I do, do we have a deal?
Yeah. You weaken the influence of that dead warlord. And we'll have a deal.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits on the stream here. I hope you guys had fun. We also have another stream on Twitch that we did earlier today for Kingdom Come Deliverance. And I will be uploading some more combat mission videos here very soon. It's done really well on the YouTube channel, and I can see you guys enjoy it. Dave, if I can ask you or Arimon's help to jump over to combatmission.com. I don't think that's what it's called, but battlefront.com, and see if we can't get some mods for Combat Mission. If you guys could assist for Normandy specifically, I'd really appreciate it. I think I'm probably going to have to end up buying the other Combat Mission games despite owning a few of them already, but it's been doing so well on the channel, I think we need to jump into it. And again, if you guys have any suggestions for Graviteam Tactics, let me know. That's definitely another game I want to jump back into. We've always done well with GT, and I really enjoy it. So thank you again, guys. Thank you, Mario. Obrigado. And I will see you guys on the next one. Dave, thank you so much for your donation, mate. And I hope you all had fun on today's stream. This was a little informal of a stream with Mad Max, but I hope you guys had fun. All right, take care, my friends. I'll see you on the next one.